Hey, you guys. Welcome to Talk About It Thursdays, and I am your host, Karen Bailey. Let me know when you're on. I would love to say hello to everybody. I hope everybody's having an amazing Thursday. I know here in Tyler, we're getting some rain. So I hope that my internet doesn't slow down for you guys. But I'm not going to be before you very long because you know how I am. I want to give you that time with your family. I want to give you that time to do what you need to do, because I know how it is when you've had a busy day at work and you're trying to make that extra time just for yourself. And I applaud you for doing that, to do something just for you, to take a minute and just woo-saw and kind of let the work day, kind of wash off of you. And I thank you for joining. Hey, chick, sister, I got you. And I hope that gives you just a little bit of time to have to yourself. Hey, Monty. And that way you can kind of wind down a little bit, and I hope it'll put you, in a better spirit, to deal with your family, to deal with your friends, whatever obligations you have when you get off from work. That's what Sister I Got You is about. It's about, you're so sweet, Monty. That's what Sister I Got You is about. We are trying to be the best versions of ourselves. And sometimes, we take on a lot. Especially career women, people that have a lot of responsibility. It's not always easy to turn that off and just be yourself for your family. So I'm glad you guys jumped on for a few minutes. I'm not going to hold you long, but I hope that whatever I share with you today is going to make your day better. I hope whatever I share with you today is going to make you a better person. It's going to make you a better mother, a better wife, a better friend. So that's what Sister I Got You is about. We are in this thing together. We got to work hard together because we all got stuff. We all got baggage. We all got things that we're trying to improve on. Nobody's got it together. So let's get into it. Last month, you guys, we were talking about the month of March. Month of March was about protection. And so we talked about protecting our peace. We talked about protecting our praise. We talked about protecting our perspective, and we talked about protecting our position. And those are the things that the enemy wants to take away from us. Those are the things that he wants to water down in each and every one of us. He hates it when you're strong. He hates it when you're confident in yourself. He hates it when you know your worth. And that Sister I Got You, if it takes every breath that I got, I'm going to press and press and press on you how worthy you are, how you are enough, how you have everything that you need inside of you to make it in this life, and that you don't have to compare yourself to anybody else. So let's talk about standing on business, you guys. Let's talk about standing on business. Now, when I say standing on business, I'm talking about taking care of your responsibilities. So it's so easy now for people to find excuses for not doing what they need to do. But woman of God, woman of integrity, woman of excellence, we ain't got no time for excuses. We have got to handle our business in 2025. There's no more excuses. There's no more I wish I would have known. There's too many resources out there for you not to know what you need to know to get things done this year. So taking care of your responsibilities, no excuse. Following through on your commitments, you have no excuse. And maintaining your principles. Hey, Cheryl, you have no excuse, woman of God. You have everything inside of you that you need to be able to do this. You have everything inside of you that you need to walk in excellence. You just have to make up your mind that you want to be a better woman than you were in 2024. And we got to learn to just walk it out and not just talk it out. A lot of us talk big. Hey, Kinsley, men and women alike, we got a bunch of stuff to say. But are we walk in what we're talking. Everything about Sister I Got You is first and foremost about checking yourself. We don't point fingers at anybody. We don't judge anybody, because you've got enough work to do just taking care of you. You've got enough work to do just keeping your own self in line. And we must take action, you guys, to fulfill our obligations. Nobody's going to do this stuff for us, whether it's personal or professional. Stop expecting people to give you a crutch. You know, God made you strong for a reason. God allowed us to go through some of the things that we went through in life just to make us strong, so that when we get to this point in our life, we can walk in excellence. And understand, when I say the word business, you know, I know the proper word is business, but business has something else behind it. It emphasizes determination. It emphasizes reliability and how important it is to stand on your word. Stand on your word and be a person of good reputation. And we should all be striving for that, you guys. So let's talk about how to stand on business. Let's talk about it. Number one, we ought to be striving to take care of what God has given each and every one of us. Number two, hey Pam, we need to recognize what's yours and what's not yours. Sometimes we're trying to deal with stuff that don't even belong to us, you guys. That's that busybody inside of us. That's that wanting to be a part of everything. You know, that's wanting to be in the know, wanting to be the first one to report everything. You know, God is going to deal with us about that, because you can't be a woman of excellence when you're focusing on everybody else's business and you're handling things that you're not even supposed to be touching. Number three, we're going to start appreciating what God has given us. You know, there's nothing like giving somebody something and they be ungrateful. You know, God is not going to continue to bless us the way that he does, to open doors the way that he does, if we continue to be ungrateful. And then number four, we have to recognize and acknowledge that we all have shortcomings, you guys. We all have faults. We all have flaws. I don't care how you try to cover it up. We all got them. Number five, we have to learn to maximize the opportunities and the moments that are put in front of us. Number six, we have to put in the work to create the positive outcomes that we want to see, you guys. And last but not least, number seven, we have got to celebrate our victories. We must celebrate ourselves if nobody else does. So let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Number one, let's talk about taking care of what God has given you. So Karen, what do you mean by that? You know, have you taken time to think about everything that God has given you? Ask yourself that. Do you really appreciate it? Do you really understand everything that God has given you? Your health, your body, your right mind. You know, most of us take those things for granted. So what are you doing? What are you doing to make those things better? Those are the things I want you to ask yourself today. Am I falling short on taking care of my health, my mind, and my body? And let me not forget your spirit. Am I falling short on that? Am I making time for everything else except to make sure that my spirit man is intact, to make sure my relationship with God is intact? Another thing God gives you is your family. God gives you your family. Are you doing what you need to do to be the example for your family? Are you the kind of person that's checking on people and making sure everybody's good? If you're not doing that, we're falling short, you guys. Because if you can't count on your family to look out for you, who can you count on? And then your children, which I know they're part of family, but the children is what comes from us as parents. You know, we don't often appreciate how blessed we are to have children until we meet people who want children so badly, and for some reason, they can't have them. Or people who have lost their children in some kind of way. You know, sometimes we take it for granted that our children are still here. We take it for granted that our children were born healthy until you hear about somebody's child that was born with a debilitating disease, somebody's child that was born with mental retardation, somebody's child that was born with a disease that's going to shorten their life. Then you want to start trying to appreciate things. But let's appreciate what we have. Hey, Shakita. And then your friends. That's another thing that God has given you. You know, everybody comes into your life, I've been told, for a reason or a season. And I found that to be true on my walk of life. You know, I used to have trouble letting people go, but now I understand about seasons, and I understand holding on to something too long. You can turn that thing into a curse. When you're not letting go of something, when God tells you to let go of it, that thing can turn on you and it can turn into a curse. And we'll talk about that in another podcast. But understanding, appreciate your friends, because everybody doesn't have them. And then understand that when people need to move on, it's nothing personal. You don't have to get in your feelings. You don't have to say, you know, why they don't want to be around me. Let people grow at the rate they need to grow. Let people be who they need to be. Hello, Eloise. Let people be who they need to be. Don't judge them, because right now their time is up with you. Be happy for them, bless them, pray for them, and allow them to move on with their life, because you may be a hindrance to them and you don't even know it. So appreciate your friends enough to love them even when they need to leave you. Love them, because if you're truly a friend, nothing that they do, nothing will make you not love them. It's just like having children. Nothing should ever make you not love your children. Not that you shouldn't set boundaries, not that you shouldn't put your foot down when you need to. You do that with friends too. But you always have that love for them, even if they have to move on without you. And then your influence. God gives you your influence. People don't have to listen to you. People don't have to listen to me. I thank God all the time. Me and my cousin were out to eat last night, and this sweet Christian lady and her husband came up to us after listening to the conversations we were having. And I knew that was nothing but God. That's that influence that God gives you, that says people can approach you, that says people can come and talk to you, that says, I'm safe. She's not going to harm me. She's not going to hurt me. I can be okay opening up to her. So that's that influence that God gives you. So don't take that for granted. And don't think that just anybody has that. You know, when God gives you a gift like that, appreciate it and use it wisely. And then your profession, whatever you do, that is a gift from God. If God allows you to do something, especially for a long period of time, I think about it, how many nurses have burned out, and I'm going 30-something years strong. That is God's grace. That is a gift from God. When I think about all these teachers, 30-something years strong, dealing with all these crazy baby mamas and daddies and these hard-headed kids, that is God's grace if you are allowed to continue to walk in your profession and you allow excellence to be on the inside of you. You don't do a halfway job. Because sometimes people stay, but they do less, or they stay for the wrong reason. But if your heart and your spirit is right and you know that that's your calling and you work to the best of your ability, that is God's grace. And you need to be thankful for that. And then your material possessions. While we're not supposed to fall in love with our material possessions, it's okay to be grateful for the nice things that you have. You know, because somebody doesn't have anything. And a lot of times we get to comparing ourselves to other people and this, that, and the other. And I'm sure that grieves God when he's blessed you and then you're looking over at somebody else's saying, oh, what God gave me is not good enough. So we need to work on those things. Work on being grateful for what God has given us. And then ask yourself, how have I handled my responsibilities up to this point? And you're going to have to be honest with yourself, because nobody knows the answer to that but you. Have you been doing the bare minimum? Have you been only doing what you felt like doing? Have you only been doing good as long as people are doing good to you? Are you finding shortcuts to keep from doing things the right way? You're the only one that can answer that. So you have to be your own supervisor. You have to supervise yourself. When you want to be a woman of excellence, you got to check yourself sometimes. And I check myself sometimes. When I see I'm slacking on something, I'm be like, you know better than that. Why are you doing that? That's not even you. And then I have to get myself back in line, because anything you do, you need to do it unto God, as if you're doing it unto God, unto God's glory. So understand that while nobody else sees what you're doing or knows why you're doing what you're doing, God always knows. So why not give him your best? Why not do that? Because that's our reasonable service, you guys. It's reasonable for us to walk in the gifts that God has given us. It's reasonable for us to treat people nice. It's reasonable for us to not half step, because God has blessed us too much, you guys. And then realize that God holds each of us responsible for how we handle or mishandle whatever he's made us steward over. So understand, if your blessings have slowed down, ask yourself, how have I handled what God has already given me? You know, we just want, and then we wonder why it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen because you haven't been a good steward over what God has already given you, and God is not going to give you any more responsibility than you show him you can handle. When you appreciate a little, God is going to give you much. If you can only praise him when you got much, he may start taking some things away from you because you've forgotten your first love. And then, have you lived up to what you keep talking about? You know, a lot of people want people to think they're a certain way. They portray themselves on social media. You know, are you really that person, or are you just trying to show off in front of everybody else? Or are you trying to make other people jealous and make them think you have it together when most of us don't? Ask yourself that. Why do you do what you do? Are you really living the life that you're portraying? Or are you out here putting out a false presentation? Ask yourself. And like I say, only you can judge you. And then ask yourself, how do I handle conflict? Because that's very important. Because I said to y'all before, what you say to people matters. What you say in anger will last a lifetime. So understand that there are things that you can say and things that you can do that I'm sorry, will not fix. There are things that you can say, that you can do, that you can cry all you want to out to God on the altar, and you have damaged somebody else. And that damage comes with responsibility, because when you hurt people, when you damage people, you cause them to hurt innocent people down the line, and you're responsible for that. So how do you handle conflict? And then the last thing is, always have a pathway or a plan to come to a peaceful resolution. If you are not the orchestrator of peace, if you're the one that keeps mess going, you need to sit down and get your relationship right with God, because there's enough chaos, there's enough craziness in this world without you adding to it. All of us need to understand that we need one another to survive. We need one another to keep our minds and keep our hearts right. So why not be the peacemaker? Why not be the connection to help other people feel like they're not living in this world alone? They're not hurting by themselves. They're not going through things by themselves. So check yourself on that. And see where you are, and be honest with yourself, because you can lie to yourself, but you cannot lie to God. Number 2, let's talk about recognizing what's yours and what's not yours. You know, I've seen women lust after other women's husbands, and then they wonder why they can't find anybody. Well, you lusting after something that's not even yours. That God didn't give that to you. And as long as you got that lustful spirit on you, as long as you got your eye on him, God is not going to send anybody good your way. He's not going to send one of his children your way for you to break their heart, for you to disappoint them, for you to totally mess up their life. So a lot of times we've got our eyes on the wrong things that don't even belong to us. And just understand, even some of the battles that we fight, if you're one of those people, as soon as something's going on, you want to get in the middle of it and you want to put your 2 cents into it, you need to get some time to yourself and focus on yourself. Life is too short to be arguing. Life is too short to be fighting over stuff that does not matter. Pick your battles. Everything is not worth fighting over. Everything's not worth arguing over. Preserve your energy for the right things. Preserve your energy for peace and joy and love, things that really matter. And then some of those burdens we keep holding on to. We always say, well, I gave it to the Lord. I've been praying about it. Y'all pray for me. But a lot of times people have you praying for them and they haven't even trusted God for what they're asking you to pray for. Be careful about people that always want you to pray for them, because sometimes they haven't even let go of the thing. They haven't even given it over to God. They haven't even made the sacrifices that's going to be needed to change their situation. But yet they want you to pray for them all the time. You're going to have to put some work behind those prayers. And then holding on to things that God has told us to let go of. Just because you love something, and that was hard for me to understand, especially as a younger woman, about how you can love people so much, but God tells you to let them go. Because God can see what you can't see. God can see when that person is immature, when that person is not ready for you, when that person is going to be a hindrance for you. All you can do is feel with your heart and deal with your flesh. And so it's hard, but you need to recognize when God says to let go of things, because if he's telling you to let it go, he has a reason for it. He's not trying to break your heart. He's not trying to make you be by yourself. He's not trying to make you sad. He is trying to protect you. He's trying to strengthen you. He's trying to elevate you. And he's trying to teach you some things. And we can't see what he sees. So that's why trusting God is so important. And then another thing that we need to recognize does not belong to us, but it belongs to God, is time. We all think that we got so much time still here on this earth. We have the time that God gives us, that God gives us the grace to have. We have no control over what day we leave this earth. So understand that time belongs to God. It does not belong to us. And when you wake up with an attitude that you got time to do this, I got time to do that, I'm going to do this in 10 years, I'm going to do this in 20 years, you are laughing in God's face and basically saying, I'm running things. God has time in his hand. That's why it is so important that you appreciate every day and understand that you have to ask God to give you this day your daily bread. That's why it's so important to ask God to forgive you, because you don't know if you're going to have another chance to ask God to forgive you. So don't sit around thinking you got all this time to get yourself right. You got all this time, to talk to God. You got all this time to make up with people. That is foolish, because time doesn't belong to us, God. Time belongs to God. So we need to stop wasting it, you guys. And then we need to understand that people belong to God. We get so mad when people disappoint us or people don't do what we want them to do. They don't belong to you. Not even your children really belong to you. They belong to God. That's why it is so important that you understand that children are given to us for a season, but they're God's children. God just gives them to us to experience the love and be able to impart wisdom and some understanding into them and help them to grow into who they need to be. But at the end of the day, those kids don't belong to you. None of them belong to you. And people don't belong to you. That woman doesn't belong to you. That man doesn't belong to you. Everybody belongs to God. And we need to allow people to grow. We need to allow people to become the individual that God created them to be, not who we want them to be. Because a lot of times we're very manipulative. We want people to be how we want them to be. But that is not our job. That is not for us to do. All you can do is ask God to help that person be who he wanted him to be, or for her to be, and to help them to be the best version of themselves. So let's talk about appreciating all that you have been given. Appreciation is shown in so many ways. When it comes to, people showing me appreciation, I love everything from text messages. I love phone calls. I love flowers. I love gift cards. I love people giving me a big old hug and we cry together. Those type of things let me know that what I'm doing makes a difference. That I'm just not out here wasting my breath. I'm just not out here giving my love away and it's falling on stony ground, or trying to encourage people and nobody can hear me. When I see people's life change, that shows me you appreciate what I'm trying to do. When I see you and you say, Sister Karen, I heard what you said a couple of weeks ago, I'm on it. That's showing me appreciation. When you say to God, I thank you for what you've given me, and if you don't give me anything else, you've done enough. You're showing God that you appreciate him. When you let God know, God, I appreciate you just for allowing me to see another day. I appreciate you for loving me the way that you do. Then you understand how amazing the love of God truly is. People want to be appreciated, and God wants to be appreciated. Ways to appreciate what you're given is to wake up and go to sleep with an attitude of gratitude. There should be nothing that has happened in your day to make you go to sleep mad or make you wake up angry. I was in a relationship with somebody that used to go to bed mad and wake up angry. And I never understood that, because he had good health. He had a good job. He had a reasonable portion of his mind. He had, everything that he needed. So I just never could understand that. And I used to ask him, what is it that you're so mad about? What is it that you're so angry about? But he could never tell me. But see, that was the turmoil that was within him. That was the things he was hiding, and the things that were within him. That's why he couldn't appreciate anything. But there's nothing that happens in your day that you should not be able to say, God, I thank you for waking me up. And God, I thank you for allowing me to see this day through. And I appreciate you and I love you. There's nothing that should ever stop you from saying that on the daily. And then making what you have be sufficient enough without complaining. That's how you show appreciation. When you do what you can for your kids, and it may not be what the neighbor can do or the family down the street can do, and your kids come up to you and they hug you and say, Mama, I thank you for this Walmart jacket. I thank you that you found this at Goodwill. This is a nice jacket. That makes a mom's heart just beat, because you gave your best to them and they understand and they appreciate it without complaining. And that's what we all need to do. We need to understand that God didn't have to allow us to have anything that we have. And what we have, most of us have more than enough. We're just not using it the right way. So showing God appreciation is basically saying, you know what, God, I thank you. I may not have this, but I have this, and I thank you for that, because you didn't have to do it. And without complaining and without comparing yourself to other people. Another way to show your appreciation is sharing what you have with other people and not bragging. Not bragging, but be a blessing to somebody. If God has helped you to get to a certain level, don't go around bragging about it. Don't go around posting on social media trying to make people feel bad about their life. Understand, God gives us what he gives us so that we can be a blessing to somebody else. We need to show God that we love him enough that just like he did for us, we're going to step out on faith and do for somebody else, because we want to see everybody level up. I know in my life, I want to see everybody around me have more than enough. I want to see everybody around me walk in abundance. I want to see everybody that's connected to me not have to worry about money. I want them to always have a place to stay. I want them to always feel loved. I want them to always feel secure. I want them to always feel like they matter. That's when you love somebody. It's when you want for them what you have. And you want to make sure that if there's any way to bless them, to help them get there, you do your part. And then another way of appreciating all that's been given to you is to take the time to protect it and to preserve it. Preserve what you have. That's what I was talking about for March. You have to protect those things. Your peace, your praise, your perspective, and your position, because those things are important. And you better believe they're going to come up under attack. So you have to be ready. You have to be prepared to protect those things in your life so that you can hold them so they can stay intact, and so that you can continue to walk in the excellence that you're walking in. That does not come without some work. We all got to do the work. We got to know what people mean us no good. We got to understand what situations can put us back in a position that we don't want to be in. We got to understand what is draining our money, what's taking our focus. That's the work you put in to protect those things that God has given you. You get focused, you prioritize, and you make sure you keep your life covered in the blood of Jesus, and ask God to help you to see what you can't see. Because some people are so subtle, some situations are so subtle, and by the time they've swooped in and done what they've done, you don't even know what happened. So that's why you have to stay connected to God, because He knows everything. And He knows who doesn't mean you any good. He knows what situation is not going to bless your life. He knows what things are going to take you back to a place that you fought so hard to get out of. That's why you got to keep yourself connected to God, because He'll look out for you. And then be an advocate for God's goodness. That's how you appreciate God. Speak about it. Tell people how good God is. Tell people how faithful God is. It's nothing like you doing something for somebody. You don't have to tell nobody anything, and they can't wait to tell everybody. Oh, y'all don't know, I didn't have any food, and Karen came and she brought 2 sacks of groceries, blah, blah. You ain't got to brag about what you do. If you do it from the right spirit and the right heart, it'll be found out. It'll be found out. The person that you help will speak on your behalf. They will speak about your goodness. And the same thing about God. We don't talk about how good God is enough, you guys. We'll talk about everything that's going on in this world. We'll talk about all these celebrities doing what they do. But we have lost our focus. We need to be talking about the goodness of God and that God is faithful. Because in times of trouble, all of that stuff is not going to matter. The only thing that's going to matter is your relationship with God and how you're going to make it through by His grace. And then never stop trying to improve or multiply what you've been given. Don't be satisfied with just a little bit. If there's a way to multiply it, if there's a way to multiply it so you can share it with somebody else. There are opportunities to take what you have and create other things that's going to create something else. I was watching some reels on, I guess it was on TikTok, and it was talking about just vegetables. And I know this is way off point, but I'm just talking about taking that little that you have and making something else. So this is my example. It was talking about how a lot of times the things that we throw away when it comes to fruit and vegetables, if we would take a little seed, or we would take just a little snippet of it, how we can plant that in soil or put it in water, and then we can reproduce that very vegetable or that very fruit. That's what I'm talking about. Taking the little bit that you have, instead of wasting, instead of throwing things away, instead of taking things for granted. Find ways to improve on what you have. That's just like that house. If you don't like the way your house is, don't go around complaining about your house. Find ways to improve it. Find ways to improve it. If you don't like how you look, take your time and find ways to improve it. You know, everybody has a problem with not understanding that what you consider not enough, somebody would die for. They would die to have what we consider not enough or what we complain about. And so once you really understand that concept of just how blessed you really are, you will change the words that come out of your mouth, and you'll end up thanking God and being grateful for everything that He's given you. And number 4, let's talk about recognizing your own shortcomings. You know, if you're going to stand on business, you're going to have to understand that you don't know it all. You ain't got it all together. And never be too big to say, I'm sorry. Those are 2 small words that mean so much. Those 2 words can keep a family from falling apart just by somebody saying, I'm sorry. Those 2 words can keep a marriage together. Those 2 words can keep you and your child's relationship close by the people not being too big to say that they're sorry. Because we mess up. Everybody messes up. But you cannot be too big and too prideful to say, I'm sorry. That relationship has to mean so much to you that you humble yourself and that you understand it's not worth risking losing it all. And then you need to own it. Whatever mistakes you make, own it. Quit being ashamed of it. Quit making excuses for why you did what you did. If you're going to be a woman standing on business, you're going to have to own what you do and stop making excuses. That's what I said in the beginning. We're not accepting no excuses in 2025 if we're trying to walk in excellence. And then number 3, whatever is broken in your life, in your situation, in your home, on your job, in your church, you need to make a plan. If you're a woman of God, if you're a man of God, you need to make a plan to follow through in order to fix it. Make a plan. God gave us this mind for a reason. This head is just not to put a hat on. God gave us creativity. God gave us ingenuity. There is no situation when it comes to people, when it comes to relationships that we should not be able to fix. Most of the time, people can't resolve things because they're selfish. And nobody is willing to say they're wrong, and nobody is willing to say they're sorry. But think about how many relationships you lost because you were stubborn, because you decided, well, I wasn't the one that was wrong. How many relationships that could have been a blessing to you did you lose because of your pride, because you refused to humble yourself? Ask yourself. And then recognize when it comes to the shame that the enemy tries to put on you, the shame is not in the falling down. The shame is in the staying down when you fall. That's the difference. Donnie McClurkin sung a song that said, we fall down, but we get up. You know, that is the tenacity of a child of God. That is a tenacity of somebody that has walked with God. That is a tenacity of somebody that has seen the goodness of God. Once you've experienced that even once in your life, it will be hard for you to stay down because you already know that you've got somebody that's bigger than the situation. You already know that there's help out there. So the shame is not in falling down. The shame is in staying down. And then be honest with yourself and with everybody else, even if it hurts or even if you lose people. You know, I've gotten to the point in my life, I love everybody, but everybody can't stay. Because there's going to come a point that if you're not mature, then I'm probably going to say something and be honest with you and you're not going to like it. And when you are a person that's immature, when you are a person that doesn't know how to resolve conflict, a person that doesn't know how to communicate rather than wearing your feelings on your shoulders, and you're a kind of person that take things the wrong way and feel like everybody's picking on you, it's just a matter of time. If you're an honest person, you're going to say something that person doesn't like. Because once you've decided to walk in honesty, once you've decided to walk in your truth and say, you know what, I'm through babying people, I'm through letting people ride on my coattail, I'm through handicapping people, I'm through allowing people to dump their baggage on me and leave me crying in the middle of the night while they're out having a good time because they've dumped their situation and cried to me and told me how terrible it was, but then they're going on with their life, and I've taken on their pain. So you have to understand, hey Teresa, when you become a kind of person that walks in honesty, everybody not gonna like you. Because one thing about me, I've learned that if I don't have nothing to say, I won't say nothing most of the time. I'm not perfect, y'all. Pray for me. Most of the time, I won't say anything. And if I get tired of your immaturity, if I get tired of the games that you play, I distance myself from you. That is me being honest with myself and understanding that I don't want to share space with you. I don't want you to put that bad energy on me. So I'm being honest with myself. So I'm going to withdraw from you because you pull me down when I spend time around you. So that will make you lose people because then they don't understand why you don't want to be around them. And they don't understand why, you're always busy or you have other obligations, so you will lose people. And people will get upset with you. But when you're an honest person and when you're living in your truth and when you're protecting your peace and you want to live your best life and you're trying to stay positive, everybody's not going to like you. Even people in your family, even people that you've been friends with forever, you really think they on your side. But when they can't pull you into their pity party or pull you into their situation, then they're going to look at you, oh, well, she don't care. Yeah, she cares, but like I said before, you got to know what is for you and what belongs to you and what doesn't. Because sometimes when you hop in people's situations, I said this before, you hopping in the middle and you don't know the whole truth. And sometimes you're jumping into something that person, that friend, that family member, that loved one has made that pit for themselves. But now that they've got in the pit, they're crying out to you, wanting you to feel sorry for them. And now, while you done got in the middle of it and disrupted your whole life disrupted because you're trying to take up for them, to find out that they made that problem for themselves. So be careful. Be careful about allowing people to pull you into their situations. And number 5, you guys, we have got to learn to maximize our moments and our opportunities. Y'all, there are things that are going to happen once in a lifetime. And once we miss it, it's gone. All you can do is say, dang, I hate I missed that. Dang this, dang that. How many times have you said that? Something that you wanted to do and you allowed life to keep you from doing it. You allowed a situation to keep you from doing it. And you keep reliving that thing saying, man, I wish I would have. Man, I hate I missed that. Stop missing out on those opportunities to make those memories in life, because there are going to be times when all you're going to be able to do is hear about it. You'll never know what it's like because you've missed that opportunity in your life. And those moments, stop letting work keep you from those family milestones, when those babies are having their birthdays, when those babies are having their recitals, when those babies are playing sports. You make a way, if any way possible, to be there to support them, because once those opportunities are gone, kids don't stop growing. And before you know it, they're grown and they're gone. And then you're wishing you had done this. You're wishing you had done that. Don't spend your life wishing for something that you could have made happen had you put forth a little bit more effort. How about taking that meeting with that person in HR, or taking that meeting with that person in administration? You got ideas about how to make your job better. You got things you want to talk to human resources about, but you scared you're going to lose your job. You scared to say this. You scared to say that. How long are we going to live our life afraid? When we know there are some things that we can suggest, some things that we can do that can make things better, not just for us, but for everybody involved. But a lot of times we go along to get along. We try to stand back. We don't want to make any trouble. But you know what? God's people are bold people. God's people are thinkers. So don't water down how smart you are. Don't water down, the creativity that you have out of fear of somebody in authority, or fear that they may not respect you or they might not listen to you. All you can do is try. Now, if you try and you presented it out there, then you've done what you needed to do. But if you haven't tried, then what we talking about? And then take that opportunity, you guys, to meet new people. Stop being afraid of people. Stop being so comfortable with your own circle that you cut everybody else out. You're not even open to meeting somebody with different ideas, that looks different from you, that does things that you and your friends don't do. You're missing out on life. You have got to broaden your horizons and understand that there are so many interesting people out here, but you've got to let go of your preconceived notion of what friends are supposed to be, and make people earn your friendship. I was talking to someone the other day. I said, my biggest mistake was trusting everybody. My biggest mistake was believing the best in everybody. Now that I'm older, you got to earn your relationship with me. And I am one of those women that if I can dish it out, I can take it. So I need to earn my friendship with you. I need to show you I'm truly your friend. I need to show you that I'm here for you. I need to show you that I can understand what you're going through. I need to show you that when you're feeling down, I'm the person that's going to come around and make you smile and make you laugh and take you out to dinner or take you to a movie to kind of pull you out of that funk. I am going to prove myself to be a friend, and I expect people to do no less. But before in my life, I accepted all comers, and then I wondered why so many things happened to me. I wondered why I got my feelings hurt as much as I did. I wondered why I was feeling about myself the way I was feeling about myself. It was the circle of people I was dealing with. And it was the fact that I allowed them to have a revolving door. They could do something to me, hurt me, and say they were sorry and shed a few tears. And guess what? Oh, kind Karen led them back. I'm a different person today. You can shed your tears. I'll give you a Kleenex, give you a hug. All right, I'll talk to you later. But you're going to have to prove yourself to me. Sorry is not just something you say. Sorry is an action. And you have to love yourself enough to not allow people to play with your heartstrings. And I was telling a friend, I was like, us kind-hearted people, we catch it. We catch it. But there is a time in your life where you will get tired of people playing with you. You will get tired of people running over you. You will get tired of people taking your kindness for weakness. And that doesn't make you a mean person. That means you woke up and understand you deserve better than what people are giving you. And you need to walk in that. And then that promotion or that job opportunity, if there's something you want to go for, don't start second guessing yourself saying, oh, I might not be good enough. Oh, so-and-so is more qualified than me. How do you know until you go for it? Go for it. They may pick you, they may not, but give it your best shot. Give it your best shot. And then getting out and doing those things that's on your list, those things that we said, oh man, I want to do this. Everybody's done this. I want to try this. Do it. Sometimes you got to do things by yourself. Go do it. Like I said before, there's always somebody that has the same interest that you do. It just may not be the people that you're hanging around. And then get out there and see the world and travel. Develop new relationships. Don't be always afraid that somebody's going to do you like the last person. I tell women that are dating, because I'm single, and when you're dealing with people that you really don't know, take your time. Take your time, because everybody's not supposed to be in a romantic relationship with you. Some people God sends in your life to be a good friend to you. And we get it all twisted up because we get in our flesh. Allow people to be what God intended them to be in your life. Everybody is not meant to be your partner. Some people are meant to be that friend, that was sent from God, that friend that can help you get through, a situation in your life or get you to the next level. So let's not rush into things. Let's take our time. Let's do our due diligence and truly get to know one another. And then number 6, putting in work to create positive outcomes. We all have past trauma, all of us. And you need to work on your trauma and get healed. We all do. Sometimes it takes years. Sometimes it takes a lifetime to work on those things that have hurt us from our past. As long as you're working on it, you're making progress. And be the bigger person. If you see a situation where you can be the bigger person, where you can be the mediator, you see people that's not getting along, 2 people that you love, be the mediator, be the middle. Don't take sides. You be the voice of reason in the middle and bridge that gap of communication. Because sometimes people just don't know how to communicate. And that's why they can't get along, because everybody wants to be right. But sometimes you have to be that positive change you want to see. And you have to step in and not listen to their excuse and say, hey, this is what I see is going on. We're going to sit down. We're going to talk. We're going to get to the root of what's going on, because this needs to stop. You have got to have the boldness to be the peacemaker sometimes. And stop going into situations and stop leaving situations without a plan of how you can make something positive out of the situation. Even in those bad situations, that we work so hard to get out of it. Make a plan. Don't just jump out and then not know what to do. While you're in it, start making plans. Start deciding what you want your life to look like. Start painting the picture of what God is showing you that you're supposed to have. And that way when you get out, you have a plan. You may not have all the answers, but at least you have a direction to go in. And then number 7, lastly, celebrate your victories. In order to stay encouraged, we need to celebrate each and every win. There is no win that is too small that you shouldn't be celebrating. Waking up every day, you should be celebrating. Getting through your job without cussing people out, you need to celebrate yourself. Being the bigger person in a situation that used to would have set you off and had you acting a fool. Appreciate that. And celebrate you. Celebrate how far you have come. Because I look back over my life and I see how certain things used to upset me, or certain things that used to make me cower down, certain things that I would have just gave up on, and I see my tenacity now. I celebrate me. I'm going to do something nice for me. I'm going to pat myself on the back. But that's how you stay encouraged. In the Bible, I don't know my scripture on that, but it even talks about you need to encourage yourself in the Lord, because people won't always do that for you. And that's my next step. Nobody will celebrate you all the time. Stop expecting people to clap for you all the time. Because if you need the crowd, if you need the applause, you need everybody saying, girl, you did a good job. Or, hun, you did a good job. Man, you did a good job. If you need that, there's something lacking on the inside of you. Because when you do what you're supposed to do and you do it with excellence, you celebrate yourself. Because you know it wasn't you. You knew it was God. And that's why I don't reach out for feelers on, okay, what did y'all think? What did you think? Blah, 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 blah. I have learned that my job is to plant the seeds. My job is to plant the seeds. That's my job. And it's God's job to water it and create the harvest. So if I know I got out here and I planted my seed, just like tonight, everything I'm planting, I don't have to have anybody pat me on the back and say, girl, that was good. You ain't got to do that. I have planted the seeds. God is going to do the watering if you allow him. So the outcome is up to him. And that's what I tell y'all. When it comes to Sister I Got You, I just plant seeds. I plant the seeds that I wish somebody would have planted in me as a young woman. And God has taught me how to encourage myself in the Lord. And that's why I don't look for a lot of applause. I don't look for, a lot of accolades, because I know that if I do what God told me to do, there's going to be a good outcome. There's going to be a good outcome. Somebody's going to get blessed. Somebody's going to be changed, and somebody is going to be able to bless somebody else. That's how it works. That's how it works. And then don't wait to appreciate your hard work and sacrifice. Everything that you've gotten, every position that you've gotten to, it costs you something. I was thinking the other day about how it seems like forever ago, but there was one time for 12 years. Hey, Keisha. For 12 years, I worked 2 jobs. For 12 years, I worked 7 days a week. I had a son in college, and I was going to be doggone if my situation was going to keep my baby from living his dream. My goal was to make sure he didn't miss a step. He didn't have everything he wanted, but he had everything he needed. I had this house. I had to keep things going, tired or not. That's that sacrifice. Couldn't hang out with my friends. I had things to take care of. I think about that now. People always ask me, when you going to come back to dance class? I said, you know what? I would love to come back to dance class. I said, but God has me focused. God has me taking care of business at my own house. There are things that I have been needing to get done. And once I got my focus right, once I sacrificed a few things, I'm watching God work it out. It's just coming along like clockwork. But a lot of times we don't appreciate and we don't even recognize how much we sacrifice to get to where we are. And how much you should appreciate yourself for being disciplined and sticking with the course. Because the only reason you are where you are right now is because you hung in there. That's because you didn't give up. That's because when you fell down, you got right back up. And you need to appreciate yourself for that. And I have learned to appreciate myself. I have learned to love myself. And I thank God I don't have to work like that anymore. But my debt ratio was so high because of my divorce. And baby, I can't even tell you how much I had to come out of. But when I look at my life now, I can't do nothing but thank God. When I look at my situation now, I can't do anything but thank God, because he brought me such a long way, and I am so grateful for that. So I try to wake up grateful. A patient asked me this morning, they said it was 7:30 because I'm the early nurse. They said, are you always like this in the morning? I said, baby, I go to sleep like this and I wake up like this. And he said, all right, Beyonce. I said, I'm just telling you, I wake up like this. I'm happy in the mornings. I have conversation in the morning. I'm not one of those people that's grumpy and got to have my coffee and blah, blah, blah. Babe, I'm making coffee talking to you. I'm having whole conversations with you before I even eat my breakfast, because I'm not going to miss a moment to make a connection. I'm not going to miss a moment. You may say something in a moment that could change my life. And because of my attitude and because of me being set in my ways, I might miss it. I'm not trying to miss anything this year. Real talk. I'm not trying to miss anything that God has for me this year. So if I got to stay up late to talk to you, if I got to get up early and talk to you, if I got to walk beside you with my cup of coffee in the morning, I'm going to get what God has for me. I'm going to get everything that's available to me. I'm going to maximize my moments, when those encounters come, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to give it all my attention because I want the blessings that God has in store for me. And I want to be focused. I don't want to miss out. I don't want to miss out on something that could possibly change my entire life for the better. So you guys, my final thought for today is make up your mind that 2025 is your year to make moves that count, to make moves that make a difference, and to make moves that bless the generations to come. It can't always just be about you. We got to make moves that's going to bless this generation, the next one, and the next one. We have got to leave legacies. You know, I tell anybody, when it comes to me, I want, when people say my name, I want them to smile. That's important to me. When my name come out of people's mouths, I want it to be something positive that comes after my name. And I work really hard. I work really hard to treat people right. I work really hard to show people love. I work really hard to be what I profess that I am. Imperfect? Yes, I am. But I'm God's child. And make up your mind to walk in your truth and to stand on business in 2025. You guys, thank y'all so much for watching. Let's say a quick prayer so we can end our night so you guys can get to y'all's family. Father God, thank you, thank you, thank you just for another day. Thank you for the opportunity to come on and just give these ladies and these men just a little time to themselves, just a little time for them to take a look at themselves and realize what they need together, what they need to work on this year, what they need to stand on business about this year, what they need to improve this year so they can make their life better, Father God. God, because when we get better, we glorify you. When we get better, when people see us, they want to know. They want to know what God we serve. When people see us and see us walking with our head up, walking in excellence, doing things the right way, walking with a smile, being loving to one another, they cannot deny that there is a God. And God, we owe you that, and we owe you so much more. And God, I ask that you bless everyone on Sister I Got You. Bless the ones that's going to watch it later. Touch them, God, like only you can, Father God. And I pray that you keep each and every one on Sister I Got You covered in your blood, because you know what each and every one of us needs, Father God. And God, we thank you and we love you, and we are trying to be the best version of ourselves. God, keep giving me the seeds to plant, Father God, and I'm going to trust you to water it, and I'm going to trust you to bring a harvest. In Jesus' name, amen. Love you guys. I will talk to y'all later. Have a great weekend. Mwah. Bye.